Right, so a couple of videos ago, James O'Brien asked me how this bale feeder works. Some people call them unrollers, but in New Zealand I think they'd be more known as a bale feeder. Most New Zealanders would know how a bale feeder works because there's a lot of them around. But it's hydraulically driven. You've got the hydraulic motor here. You've got this pin here which releases the actual bale feeder off the forks. So your forks slide into those holes there, and the hydraulic motor goes in here, and then that pin latches in here. And on the other side we've actually got the same setup, so you can pick this bale feeder up from both sides. When we brought this one, we actually brought this one off my dad when we moved here, but our last job we brought the exact same bale feeder in the second year we were there, and we were there for 7 years. So our bale feeder fed out 300 bales plus a year. That's a lot for us, but I know there's other people that probably feed out a lot more than that. But yeah, so you can actually load with these forks. You don't have to have a loader to load these bale feeders. You can actually load with those forks. I've never ever done it because I've always had a loader. And one thing that these bale feeders have is this fork on this side is actually longer than that one, so it helps when you're lining it up with this box section here to slide it onto the forks. Yeah, so I don't know, that's about all I really have to say about it. We did put these extensions on because the arms, that's not the bale feeder's fault, it's more the tractor. This tractor has bigger rubber than normal, I believe, or it's an option, but they don't extend the arms out, so we've had to make up these triangle plates that bolt into the holes and extend it out about 150 mil or something, 120 mil or something like that, just to get it further away from the tractor, because this motor is right in here when we first put it on, and it's pretty much rubbing on the tire. So yeah, that's really the only thing that we've had to do to it. Every other tractor we've had hasn't had that problem. The chains run in a track, so it's sort of like a big, real oversized motorbike chain, like sort of design like actual chain. Our old bale feeder had actual chain links, like a chain that you would tow a stuck tractor with or something like that. And these here are actually runners, and they run on there's like a track that it runs in. Very good design. I've never had to adjust it. You can adjust it there, but we never adjusted our old one, and I don't intend on adjusting this one. So this bale feeder should see us out. We don't feed out as many bales now, so we feed out more in a stack. So yeah, any other questions, just let us know and I'll see if I can answer them. looks like it's happened before. There's a bit of pipe there. Been meaning to fix this leak for a week or so. My dad spotted it and I spotted it sort of around the same time. But there's a joiner here and it's just split before the joiner, so I'm actually going to need to get another bit of pipe. But I wanted to dig it up while it's under pressure so I can actually work out where it's leaking. So we know that now. So you can see where it's leaking, right just after that joiner, so just have to get a bit of pipe. Bit of a pain, I almost just need one of those longer joiners that would probably work perfect, but actually there's probably enough pipe here. Cut that off and it'd probably join up again if I dug that out of it. Might have to have a go at that. I'm just going to go over and have a look at the water trough over there and we'll decide what we're going to do. You see, what's interesting is this trough here normally has a big puddle of water around it. It doesn't now. I always thought that the trough was overflowing, but it's not overflowing. It's very close to overflowing. It's not even doing anything down there. Nothing coming out. So might just bend that bullcock arm down a bit. So I just bent it down a bit more, so hopefully it just drops the water level down a bit. We've got a few water troughs on this farm that just dribble over. Just be the ballcocks not sealing properly, but a friend did point out that we've got a lot of small ballcocks. This is a big one. Oh, I mean the float. This is a big one, but we do have a lot of the small ones and it may just not be enough float to shut it off because it's a pressurized system, so I don't know. Learning as I go. The last, on our last farm, that we share milked on was a gravity system from a tank up on the hill, so yeah, it's they're similar but slightly different. So that there is the hay paddock that we done the hay in just there, and right there's the quarry, and then this is the neighbouring farm right here. So this is the paddock we call Gum Hill. It's 3.4 hectares and just goes up the valley, drops down the valley there and goes up the hill. So yeah, give you a perspective on where we are. And at the back there, that's the Taiwanese, where you got the maize or the corn growing. So really this is the right hand back corner of our farm. The coast is over there. So what I'm going to do, rather than going back and turning off the water and getting another bit of pipe, I'm going to try and cut that little bit of split pipe off and then push it on again, because it's got so much pipe sticking out of the ground. So I'm going to take the float off the end of this bullcock arm, and that'll give the water somewhere to go, because this is the end of the line. So I've just opened that up so the water comes out, and we'll go back there and fix that split hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to one of these fittings, because I find that some of the pipe that Dad's used has got quite thin walls and it doesn't grip those fittings properly, whereas these fittings here have got a lot coarser thread on the inside, so it helps pull that pipe in. So this I'm going to try. We'll see if it works. There's another one of those blue fittings I was just showing you. So you can see there's another joiner there, that's the original one, and I pulled this one out, which is just a normal Hansen fitting. They're good fittings, but sometimes this piece of pipe here, you can tell it's a thin wall because of the way there's quite a big gap there, because it's not a very tight fitting piece of pipe. That's a thick wall, you can see it's screwed on a lot quickly, like, you know, like doesn't have as much of a gap there. So that's why I like to use these fittings, because they've just got a bit coarser thread and help pull that in. But these Hansen fittings work good on that thick wall, but not so well on the thin wall. So we're going to leave that for a while, come back and check it either today or tomorrow, see what happens. And if it's not leaking, we'll fill it in, so we'll just let that water evaporate. I need to go and put that ballcock float back on, and we'll carry on with what we're doing. At least the water's nice and warm. Done. I'll check on that later on. So you can see on this back part of the paddock there's less bulbs, and the further you go to where they've grazed, the more bulbs they leave, but they do clean them up. That's what I was trying to point out. This morning the cows actually broke out of the turnips. They were everywhere, both paddocks, because I didn't shut the gate between because I sprayed through there last and didn't think anything of it. And yeah, so they had the whole lot. There's a few bare patches out there, and that's probably why there's a few more turnips left in here, because they had a good feed out there before I shut them on here for an extra hour or two. I shifted them on at about 10:30, so they start coming on here at about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So they spent a few hours on here, the first ones, but yeah, they soon clean these up. They're some good sized bulbs in there, some of them. Nice lush leaf. See, that's what damage they've done by breaking up. But that paddock's not so bad over there, but this one here, you can see the bare patches down through there where they've been. So they're getting quite a big break. I've been going off 3 post widths at each end, so we're going to get probably 10 days out of the whole paddock, and then probably 6 over there. That's a smaller paddock. So yeah, just over 2 weeks out of this first lot. It's about 2 hectares, so if anyone wants to work out how much they're eating, go for it. But yeah, now they're hoovering up that silage, so they got 2 bales in there today, as you would have seen. 2 bales, turnips, and whatever grass in the paddock. So they should be getting enough. Well, they're getting enough to do 1.1, so they're not getting enough, but that's all we can do. Doesn't appear to be leaking anymore. The water level is dropping. It's amazing how quickly the water is soaking in and evaporating. Yeah, so tomorrow, I'm not sure if you get to see it, but I would imagine by tomorrow this will be all dried up. So yeah, I'll leave the spade here for now, and I'll do that another day. Don't want to fill it in too early and find that it's leaking. So yeah, we'll carry on. I was just coming down to show you the irrigator working, and I see it stopped. Now the hose is kinked over, and we've got a leak. There's the 2 drag lines, we call them drag lines. So the way this irrigator is set up, this travelling irrigator, is from the pump we've got, I think it's like 90 mil, and then it goes down to this 50 or 60 mil when they call it the drag line. There's two lengths of this, and there's kinks. Like you can see there's a kink there. They're everywhere on this pipe. There's another one there, kink, where it's been buckled over, which means when it's pulling it along, it does exactly what you just saw. It kinks it over, and then it causes it to split and leak. So we actually brought two new lengths of the 90 mil. We put that in, but I think we need to get a couple more lengths of this drag line. So yeah, it's a travelling aerator. It's got a winch on it and it pulls itself along. Dad calls them an agitator or an irritator. Just trying to drag that around a bit. So this is our effluent tank. Not sure how big it is, but it's got a stirrer on it. That's a stirrer, and then the pump's over on that other boom. The reason why we've got grass floating in there is because there's a rope now that goes across there to the pump, and then one going the other way, because it's snapped off at the top of where it's mounted. It wasn't mounted very good. I think actually pretty poor design really. So they put these ropes in, but now it's catching all the crap and allowing it to build up, and it's growing grass. So that will become a problem soon, because how do we get that out of a lined plastic pond without damaging it? We're gonna have to get in there, I guess. Yeah, there's the irrigator down here. So we just got this this here, and it's copied off an old silage fork, I believe, that they used to, I think they have two of them together, and it clamps onto a silage in the old days to lift it up on top of stack, I believe. So that one there has been remade and galvanized, but we've got an old one somewhere. Actually, Dad's got it back on a he's got this old winch that goes on the front of a trailer for actually pulling silage up onto it. I'll have to show you one day. But yeah, here's the irrigator pulling itself along. Liquid gold, or rain, liquid rain. I actually rolled it in the last paddock. What happened was the hose, the way I was making it come along but turning at the same time, coming down a hill, and it just caused it to just tip over. So hence the reason why it's leaking on the boom there a little bit, because it got slightly bent. It is what it is. Still works. Right, that will be it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the encouragement. I got some real good comments from the last video with the hay. Yeah, really appreciate it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you somewhere else on the farm. See ya.